In the name of Allah, in this lecture, we will explain the dissipation factor test, also known as the tan-delta test. Through some practical experiments, we will make a comparison between the insulation resistance test, which we explained in the previous lecture, and the dissipation factor test or tan-delta test. Although both the insulation resistance test and the dissipation factor test or tan-delta test are performed in order to evaluate and determine the condition of insulation in power transformers, we will learn what the difference between them is and whether one of these tests is better than the other or not. In other words, can we omit one of these tests, or is it necessary to perform both tests on power transformers? We already mentioned before that the main components of the power transformer are the iron core, the low voltage windings, the high voltage windings, and the insulation system, whether it is insulating mineral oil or the different types of solid insulations inside the transformer. We have learned that there is an insulation system between the iron core and the low voltage windings, as well as an insulation system between the low voltage windings and the high voltage windings, and also between the high voltage windings and the main metallic tank body of the transformer. And since any two conductors separated by an insulating material form a capacitor, this means that inside the power transformer there are a large number of capacitors. These capacitors are formed due to the insulation system between the iron core, the low voltage windings, the high voltage windings, and the transformer's main tank. In the previous lecture, we explained the insulation resistance test. We learned that the insulation resistance test is performed using a Megger device or a DC voltage source. For example, 5 kilovolts direct current, DC, for high voltage levels such as 66 kilovolts. By applying Ohm's law, where resistance R equals voltage V divided by current I, we can determine the value of the insulation resistance by dividing the applied DC voltage by the leakage current passing through the insulation. We also learned that the permissible values of insulation resistance, R, are in the order of gigaohms, or at least in the range of hundreds or thousands of megaohms. In other words, the higher the insulation resistance value, the better the quality of the insulation. We have learned that the value of the insulation resistance is highly affected by temperature. That is why the polarization index test was introduced. We explained that the polarization index test is performed by applying a DC voltage to the insulation and then dividing the value of the insulation resistance after 10 minutes by the value of the insulation resistance after 1 minute from the application of the DC voltage. We learned that the permissible value of the polarization index, Pi, must be greater than 1.1. And of course, the higher the value, the better the quality of the insulation. As for the dissipation factor test, also called the tan-delta test, or sometimes referred to as the power factor test or the cosine theta test, in order to understand these tests, we must first know what is the angle delta or the angle theta. We explained that when an AC voltage is applied to any electrical equipment such as cables or power transformers, we observe the existence of two currents. The first one is the current flowing through the conductor, and the angle between this current and the voltage is the angle phi, also known as the phase angle phi. The second one is the current flowing through the insulating material, or what we call the leakage current, and the angle between the insulation current, or leakage current, and the voltage is the angle theta. And we said that since the insulations together with the conductors inside the power transformer or the cables form capacitors, and of course we all know that the current in a capacitor leads the voltage by an angle of 90 degrees, then the question arises, is the angle theta of the insulation current or leakage current always equal to 90 degrees? Since the insulation inside the transformer or the cable behaves like a capacitor, then in the ideal case of a capacitor, that is, when the insulation is completely pure and free of any impurities or contaminants, the capacitor is ideal. And naturally, the ideal angle for the current in a capacitor is 90 degrees. However, in the normal practical case, the insulation is of course not ideal. This means that there are impurities or contaminants present inside the insulating material, whether it is the insulating material in cables or the insulating mineral oil in transformers. As a result, these impurities or contaminants will cause the angle of the insulation current to be less than 90 degrees by a certain angle of value delta degrees. Therefore, we can say that the angle delta is the dielectric loss angle inside the insulating material. Therefore, the greater the percentage of impurities or contaminants present inside the insulating material, the greater the value of the angle delta will be. Conversely, if all impurities and contaminants are removed from the insulation, this will mean reducing the value of the angle delta and increasing the value of the angle theta until we reach the ideal case where the angle delta equals 0 degrees and the angle theta equals 90 degrees. This is the ideal condition for insulation or for capacitor insulation in general. I mentioned earlier that the transformer closely resembles a capacitor because between any two conductors there is insulation. And of course, everyone knows that the capacitance of a capacitor depends on the type of insulating material and the physical dimensions. From this, we understand that any changes that may occur in the insulating material will certainly cause changes in the capacitance value of the capacitor. The types of changes that may occur include insulation aging, the presence of impurities, moisture, or any contaminants in general inside the insulation. Therefore, we can say that dielectric loss is the dissipated power or the electrical power lost in the insulating material when it is subjected to an AC voltage source. And naturally, the lower the dielectric loss, the better the insulation condition. On the other hand, if the dielectric loss is high, this indicates the existence of problems in the insulation, whether due to insulation aging, insulation contamination, or the presence of moisture inside the insulating material. Accordingly, the tan delta test is performed using an AC voltage source of about 10 kilovolts, where both the capacitive current IC and the resistive current IR, that is, the leakage current passing through the insulating material, are measured. Therefore, the loss factor, also called the dissipation factor, is a percentage value and an indicator of the condition of the insulation. The loss factor or dissipation factor is measured through the measurement of tan delta, or alternatively, the power factor or cosine theta. From the diagram in front of us, we observe that when an AC voltage is applied to the insulation, a leakage current flows through it. This leakage current consists of two components. The first component is IR, which is the current flowing through the insulation resistance. The second component is IC, which is the current flowing through the capacitance of the dielectric. Accordingly, we can say that tan delta, or the dissipation factor, equals IR divided by IC. But the power factor of the insulation equals cosine theta, which is equal to IR divided by the total current, where the total current is the total leakage current passing through the insulation. And of course, the values of tan delta and cosine theta are approximately equal to a large extent. Usually, the insulation loss factor or tan delta is measured at a temperature of 90 degrees Celsius, according to the international standard IEC 60247. The permissible value of tan delta must be less than 0.5%, meaning that the angle delta should be less than approximately 0.3 degrees. As I mentioned, if the tan delta percentage is less than 0.5%, this is evidence that the insulation is excellent if the tan delta percentage is between 0.5% and 1%. This value is usually acceptable, but the insulation condition must be monitored. However, if the tan delta percentage is greater than 1%, and especially if it exceeds 2%, this is strong evidence of serious problems in the insulation, such as aging of the insulating paper, the presence of moisture and contaminants in the insulation or in the insulating mineral oil, or deterioration of the insulating mineral oil. Therefore, we will mention some practical case studies to understand the difference between the insulation resistance test and the tan delta test. As for the first case, an insulation resistance test was carried out for one of the transformers, and the insulation resistance value was 20 mega ohms. Therefore, the insulation resistance was very low because we all know that the permissible limits must be in the order of giga ohms, or at least hundreds or thousands of mega ohms. But when the tan delta test was carried out, the result was 0.4%, which is less than 0.5%. Hence, the insulation quality was excellent. This shows us a contradiction or difference in judging the insulation quality. After inspecting the transformer and checking all the connections, it was noticed that the cause of the low insulation resistance value of 20 megaohms was due to surface contamination on the transformer bushings as a result of moisture. After cleaning and drying these bushings, the insulation resistance value reached the gigaohm range, confirming that there were no problems in the internal insulation of the transformer. As for case number 2, the insulation resistance of another transformer was measured and the value was 2000 megaohms, that is 2 gigaohms, which indicates excellent insulation. However, when the tan delta test was performed, the result was 1.8%, which is a very poor result. After inspection and review of the internal insulation of the transformer, it was found that the internal insulation had aged due to the presence of a high percentage of moisture in the cellulosic insulation paper, in addition to oxidation of the insulating mineral oil and an increase in its acidity. And of course, these problems could not have been detected by the insulation resistance test alone. Therefore, we can say that the insulation resistance test is considered a quick test for detecting major insulation defects before energizing the transformer. However, it does not provide a complete evaluation of the overall condition of the insulation. On the other hand, the tan delta test is a better diagnostic test from an advanced perspective because it is more sensitive to detecting any deterioration or weakness in the insulation. In other words, the tan delta test provides an assessment of the insulation condition over the long term and shows the degree of insulation degradation over time. And of course, to obtain the best evaluation, both tests, the insulation resistance test and the tan delta test, should be performed. If we want to make a quick comparison between the insulation resistance test and the tan delta test, it will be as follows. The device used in the insulation resistance test is a Megger or a DC voltage source, while in the case of the tan delta test, an AC voltage source is used. In the insulation resistance test, what is measured is the insulation resistance or the leakage resistance, while in the case of the tan delta test, what is measured is the dielectric loss in the insulation or the dielectric loss angle. Regarding sensitivity, the sensitivity of the insulation resistance test is low, but the sensitivity of the tan delta test is high. Therefore, through the tan delta test, it is possible to detect even minor deterioration in the insulation. In general, the insulation resistance test is carried out as a quick check for the transformer before putting it into service, whereas the tan delta test is performed as a precise periodic monitoring of the internal insulation condition of the transformer. Accordingly, the required time and cost for performing the tan delta test are, of course, higher than those required for performing the insulation resistance test. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next lecture.